two films cannot occupy the same auditorium and showing time. Oh shit, I'm watching Ferrari. Hey guys, Ronnie Reaper here. So I'm about to head into the cinema. Yep, it's that time, you know the drill. About to head into the cinema, about to head in and see Ferrari, the new film from Michael Mann. Yeah, really looking forward to this. Love a good racing film. Trailers for this will look awesome. Really like Adam Driver, he's a good actor. Like, all signs point to this being something I'll love, or at least really like. So yeah, I'm gonna head in. Now I get my snacks, get my seat, go see Ferrari. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here, frozen Fanta, red the colour of Ferrari, ready to appreciate the irony of Adam Driver starring in a film about Ferrari. So yeah, just back from seeing Ferrari, and look, I was really looking forward to this film. I love a good racing movie, whether it be like Rush, Le Mans '66, better known as Ford v Ferrari, or even recently Gran Turismo, which is a really pleasant surprise. So yeah, I was expecting good things from this, especially since the trailers look really awesome. And also, it's got real pedigree in front of and behind the camera. You know, you got Michael Mann in the director's chair, and Adam Driver playing the lead. You know, he's proved himself to be a really capable actor in and outside of the galaxy far away. But is the film actually a really great racing drama? Let's find out. So, the film is set in 1957, and the Ferrari Motor Company, co-owned by Enzo Ferrari and his wife Laura, is going through financial difficulties. The production cars are not meeting the demand to be able to properly fund the racing division, which is where all the big money is going. And so, rather than partner with another motoring company like Fiat, Enzo is given one simple task: win the Mille Miglia with one of his cars, and that will create the demand to be able to properly fund the production division and the racing division. So, yeah, look, I was expecting really big things from this. Obviously, you've got tons of talent, and it's a racing movie, and specifically a film about Enzo Ferrari. So, given the talent and premise, I was expecting this to be a potential like top 10, top 5 maybe of 2023. And while certainly this doesn't hit anywhere near those highs, I did enjoy this movie though. This is a very solidly made drama. I mean, for one, this is definitely not a commercial, crowd-pleasing film, that's for sure. This is definitely not a glamorizing portrayal of Enzo Ferrari and his achievements, but rather a warts and all exploration of Enzo Ferrari the man. Like, on the one hand, you've got this sort of very strong through line of like Ferrari being like a borderline religion. It's a really strong through line that gives the film some real motor. It's a very interesting idea that it gets real mileage out of, particularly in a strong scene early on, where we cut from a church sermon to a test run of the cars on the track. It's really well done. But this is also an exploration of Enzo Ferrari as a flawed human being. Obviously, we explore his marital struggles, his relationship with his wife Laura, and also the fact he had an affair with Lena Lardy, and a relationship in which he straight up fathered a child, but also exploring that sense of responsibility and guilt that he feels for the death of his son Dino, who he fathered in his relationship with Laura. It's a really compelling exploration of this, iconic figure, and it's one that pulls no punches and is consistently engrossing throughout. I mean, in the marital side of things, it can feel a little underpowered. At times, it can feel a little less interesting. It's fairly engaging throughout, but at times the narrative is a little underpowered. But saying that, Troy Kennedy Martin's rock solid screenplay absolutely makes up for that in regards to the racing side of things. Wow, yeah. This is where the film really comes to life, because you've got obviously the through line of Enzo trying to win the Mille Miglia, and this is when the film is at its best because not just on the track and those scenes of the film really comes to life. The sound design, the sweeping cinematography, it is immense and is consistently so thrilling to watch. But also off the track, on the strategic side of things, that the sort of technique and strategic genius that he instills in his drivers, that deadly passion. It's consistently so engrossing to watch, sort of an exploration of man's strive for perfection in his line of work, and especially so in one where death potentially lurks around in every corner. It's super, super compelling stuff, and the film is at its best when it is focusing on these aspects. It can be a little slow at points, particularly early on. Like it sort of almost feels like I've kind of walked in on the film during like the second act. Like I don't get me wrong, once the actual stakes of the narrative like emerge themselves, like after for near the end of the first act, the film really clicks into gear. But definitely the first act in particular does feel kind of slow. But it's made up for by, being very well made from a technical perspective. Like, the cinematography by Eric Messerschmidt looks great, and obviously there's been much debate over Michael Mann's use of digital over his last few projects, but here it really works. It looks really good. It's accompanied by a score from the always reliable Daniel Pemberton. Yeah, he obviously did Spider Verse among others, and yeah, he's always doing really good scores for his films, and that is no exception here. We also have some great performances here as well. Adam Driver is really good as Enzo Ferrari. He plays him with this incredibly impressive level of restraint. So yeah, the emotional moments are allowed to really hit harder when he does break free of that restraint. He's great. Obviously, the probably the arguably the scene stealer of the film is Penelope Cruz as Laura. She is fantastic. She is this impressively magnetic presence. Like this sort of almost like not quite broken character, but certainly one reeling from the loss of her child and also her gradually breaking apart relationship with her husband, especially since she can never quite tell who he's sleeping with next. She is fantastic as a woman on the edge. She is great. Less impressive though is Shailene Woodley as Ferrari's mistress, Lena Lardy. But like performance-wise, she's fine, but her accent is yeah, it's not good. Uh, she sort of wanders between trying to do an Italian accent, but also sounding like she's just speaking in her normal American accent. Like, I don't know what she was going for. It didn't work though. Saying that it is, the performances here are very good though for the most part. But really, where this film hits though is in its final act. This is where the film really comes into its own and, delivers this big tonal shift that hits really hard, and this is where the biggest emotional impact comes because obviously it's been much talked about the incredibly realistic like graphic car crash scene, and yeah, when that scene hits, it is absolutely brutal. The atmosphere just changes wildly. It leaves such an impact, and the consequences of that are explored to really resonant effect in the last act. It is fantastic. Yes, there is some kind of occasionally unintentionally hilarious, obvious dummy work in some earlier crash scenes, but when this one hits, it just hits different and it is absolutely brutal. Yeah. And overall, yeah, I did enjoy Ferrari. This is a very compelling drama. Obviously, not quite as great as I was expecting it to be, but it's a consistently, solidly made film and one that I did have a positive experience watching. Definitely give it a go if it's showing near you. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Ferrari? What did you think of it? Uh, where do you place this in among Michael Mann's filmography? And yeah, what, what potential real life figures would you like to see him cover next? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.